What's up, everybody? Spiritomb guy here, bringing you a Showdown commentary, OU match, against Shaniya, I guess that's how you say it. And look at the team preview. The huge threat that I have to deal with during this battle is definitely going to be the Genesect. Genesect can hit my entire team with super effective damage, and really can just do a lot of work against me. So as long as he plays his Genesect correctly, I'll be in a lot of trouble. So other than that, I don't see a lot of threats. The Starmie can be annoying because it can also do basically the same except for with my Ferrothorn. It can't really touch my Ferrothorn, so I need to make sure I keep my Ferrothorn alive for that Starmie. Jirachi could be annoying depending on what kind of set he's running. As you can probably tell, I am running Rainstall with defensive Landorus set, which always kind of works out with the Intimidate just because of Landorus' great typing. And decent defensive move pool. I mean, it'd be nice to have a little bit more. It does have Stealth Rocks and Roar, so I guess it has some utility going for it. But other than that, I also have the support Tentacruel and a bunch of other dudes, as well as the Lucario in order to clean up the game. So without further ado, let's get right into the match. So I'm gonna lead off with, I'm gonna lead off my Politoed as he's gonna lead off with his Genesect. I'm gonna go for Protect and Scout first turn. He's going for the U-turn, and I suddenly just felt like staying in because I'm thinking he might be choice in some respects, looking at the structure of his team. So I do decide to stay in, go for a Scald, get a burn on the Starmie, which is nice because he's not getting leftovers recovery. And now he's gonna switch out on his Volcarona. I was actually going for Protect, just expecting him to go for the Thunderbolt so I could get more burn damage on him. But he makes a nice play and gets rid of the burn natural cure, so he can stay in here a lot more safely. So now I have to go into my Ferrothorn to take the expected Thunderbolt, which is what I do. As he double switches into his Volcarona as I set up some spikes. And I don't really want to stay in this Volcarona. I'm actually going to go into my Politoed because I know double stab Scalds will do a lot, even if he's at +1 special defense. So I do decide to go for the Scald, but he does get a critical hit, which definitely did matter because I know a max HP Politoed can live a hit from a +1 Volcarona, but it doesn't really matter because my Dragonite more than likely walls his set. So just go into this, go for the T-Wave, predicting the switch as he goes out into the Genesect. He goes for the U-turn, does not break my sub, thankfully, as he goes in the Starmie, and I'll be able to easily Dragon Tail the Starmie out, because I know he probably carries the Ice Beam, and it'll probably still do 20% even if I do a multi-scale, so I'm not going to go for the Roost. And now I Dragon Tail him into his own Dragonite, and I'm pretty scared because this thing could be a Dragon Dance set. And he actually predicts the switch because he knew that I didn't want to stay in because I had a broken multi-scale and he didn't. So he does go for the Dragon Dance. And on this turn, I do go for the Protect, anticipating to go for another Fire Punch, but he doesn't, and he predicts that very well, going for the Dragon Dance. So I'm really forced out of here, and he makes a third great prediction by going for the Outrage, predicting my switch into my Tentacruel, anticipating the Fire Punch, which was a great play on his part, but luckily for me, I still have my Ferrothorn, which can handle him as long as I get to a good range of health. So now I do another double switch in my Landorus one to get the Intimidate, as I am a bulky set, and I am figuring that he will go directly for the Fire Punches on this turn, so I think I could take it just fine. Now I just go for the Protect. He probably wasn't expecting me to carry Protect, but this is a Toxic Stall Landorus, so that ended up pretty much working in my favor. But now I'm going to go into my Ferrothorn again, because now that he's locked into Outrage, I can get Iron Barb's damage as well as get some health back. And on this turn, I make a bit of a misplay by letting myself take some extra damage from the Outrage. What I really should have done is go for Protect, but what I really did want was my second layers of Spikes, so I'd be having an easier time with phasing and sweeping with my Lucario. So now I go out into my Dragonite, because I know I completely walled this Volcarona, but what I did not expect was that he has the Substitute. So now I'm in a little bit of trouble, because if I let him set up too many Quiver Dances, he can still do a lot of damage to me, even in my Dragonite. So I'm going to go for the sub this turn, anticipating to go for another Quiver Dance, because he probably realizes he can't do very much to me through my multi-scale, because he probably knows I'm a specially defensive build. But now I break his sub with the Dragon Tail. I know another Dragon Tail will break the sub, but I'm going to go for the Roost, anticipating him to go for either a Quiver Dance or a Bug Buzz, because I knew that would probably bring me back to full, at least close to full, and then leftovers could bring me to full. But now I've broken his sub with the Dragon Tail as he's continuing to go for Bug Buzz. They aren't doing that much simply because I am running a specially defensive set. And on this turn, he makes a bit of a misplay by going for the Stealth Rocks instead of the Stone Edge, because now I'm allowed to get a sub up and on his Dugtrio, go for the Roost, and I'm actually going to be able to counteract him trapping me with the Dugtrio, because although he does get a crit through my multi-scale, it doesn't do all that much, and I'll be able to Dragon Tail him out, which in the end will cause him to die from hazards whenever he comes back in. But now I have a really unexpected encounter with this Jirachi. I was figuring he might body slam me, so I do stay in, but he actually turns out to be a Scarf set, which isn't good. But now I go to my Lucario, set up the Swords Dance, because I know I can do a lot of work with my Lucario now, as long as I play carefully with it. Do take out the Genesect, he goes into the Starmie. I do have the Extreme Speed, so I know I'll be able to take that thing out, no problem. And now since the Dugtrio out of hazards, and now the only thing I have issues with is the Jirachi, because he can actually 2-hit KO me with the Iron Head, and although I do have Steadfast, I do still flinch, so that does kind of suck. But I do decide to go for the Extreme Speed, knowing that he's probably Scarfed. I know he can still outspeed me after +1 speed, so I do get a little bit of damage off, and now I know I can go into my Ferrothorn, take those hits all day, go for Leech Seed. He probably won't want to switch into Volcarona, knowing that I could Leech Seed him easily, and I will be able to go Protect on this turn and finish off the Jirachi. And now his last Pokemon is obviously the Volcarona. I know I'm just going to leave in my Ferrothorn as Death Fodder, because if I do get Leech Seed off from him, I will win the game anyway. He does take me out with the Fire Blast, but I still have my Landorus, which I know, since it's bulky, I can take a hit. And the Fire Blasts are weakened by Rain. I resist the Bug Buzz, so he couldn't do anything to me, and that was pretty much the match. So I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.